How quickly can I recover from an eyelid operation? I work with customers every day. Yeah, that's true. Hi, Stephen. Thank you very much for your question. It is indeed a very common question. And it is a common operation, but this is the most common question when it comes to that operation. So, in principle, today, you don't have a long downtime after an eyelid operation. The operation itself takes about 1 hour and has a short recovery time. I always do it outpatient here in the clinic, and I think most of the clinics in Switzerland work like that. So the operation itself, it's okay, it goes quite fast, and you recover sometime in the recovery room, and on the same day you are home. What makes the recovery time shorter nowadays is that we changed our operation technique. So what was happening in the past was that we used to remove a lot of excess skin from the eyelid, but also a lot of fat under the skin from the eyelid. That was bringing, of course, more bruises, more swelling, longer recovery time, and sometimes, unfortunately, the complication of hollow eyes. Then, after we noticed that technique doesn't work, we changed. So nowadays we're more fine when we operate the eyelid. So what I do is a very, very fine incision when I remove only the excess skin and a little bit of fat, if at all, under the skin of the eyelid. With that, in that way, we have, of course, less bruises and less swelling and shorter recovery time because we're not so aggressive. And the eyelid, the whole eye area, but of course the eyelid, the skin of the eyelid is so sensitive that the less aggressive we are operating, the shorter the recovery time. It's gonna come some swelling. Immediately after the operation, we see it gets immediately swollen, and it's gonna be a little bit swollen the first days, 2, 3, 4 days after the operation. What helps a lot is cool packs. We cool immediately after the operation, already in the operation room, and we keep cooling in the recovery room. And then I always ask the patients to work with me a little bit on that at home. So they have to cool the eyelids the first 24 hours quite often, and the next day of after the operation a little bit less. 3 days after the operation you don't need to cool the eyes anymore because the swelling is really good, well away. That means practically that on the fourth day you can go back to work. So you're gonna have a wound and your customers are gonna notice that you had an eyelid operation or something done on the eyelids. But if you don't mind about that, as long as you won't have any pain and it's not a painful operation, as long as the swelling is gone, and as long you don't have any problems with the eye site, which you won't have, then you can really go back to work and do your daily activities. What you won't be able to do is intensive sport. I'm a little bit stricter. We ask people that for 1 month they don't do a lot of sport. So as a summary, calculate with 3 to 4 days of a little bit swelling, where I would say it's better that you stay home, and then you can go back to work. If you're able to take 1 week vacation, that's the best. Then I think that you should take 1 week and recover home.